Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I was thinking about kind of the stress that we're all under and the difficulty sometimes of managing that stress. So what I decided to do is kind of a relaxing video, just going through some emotional wellness tips, things to think about to manage your stress levels. So what I have got with me as well is my lovely, it's a teapot and cup of tea, cup and saucer set, and I've got some chamomile tea in my teapot. So I'm just going to pour myself a cup of chamomile tea. I've got my tea strainer because it's loose chamomile tea. There we are. And I'm just going to pop my tea strainer out the way. Put my teapot down. Okay. So I've got now a lovely cup of chamomile tea, which is very, very good for calming you down a little bit. A great bedtime drink as well. I'll often have a cup in the afternoon if I'm not working, just to calm myself down, and I find it really works well. So that's a really good tip. I've also got my lavender candle burning, which is also very good for stress and relaxation. Okay, so I found some of these sheets online. It's all about being your healthiest self, so it's an emotional wellness checklist, and it says here that emotional wellness is the ability to successfully handle life stresses and adapt to change and difficult times. It says so there are some tips for improving your emotional health. Okay, and the first tip here is building resilience. So as we all know, I'm just going to use my own sort of experience as well. As we all know, we can't avoid stress. It's just part of life. It's unfortunately built into our day, isn't it? And I think without certain amounts of stress, we would find it difficult to function or do anything remotely sort of worthwhile or useful. So we need a certain element of stress. So we need to build that resilience to cope with that stress. So here it says that people who are emotionally well, experts have said, have fewer negative emotions and are able to bounce back from difficulties faster. This quality is called resilience. So learning healthy ways to cope and how to draw from resources in your community can help you build resilience. So then we move on to some tips here on how to build resilience. So it talks about developing healthy physical habits. So it's your usual things of eating healthy, being physically active, and getting regular sleep. And this can improve your physical and mental health. So it's really important that we start with the basics, really, isn't it? Take time for yourself each day. Notice the good moments. Do something you enjoy. Something like reading or listening to music, which is something I touched on in my colouring video that I did, that I like to do that just to completely zone out. And obviously I love reading, I love my books, I love listening to music as well. All those things have to be an essential part of my day, I think. Otherwise I really notice if I don't make that time for myself. It also says to look at problems from different angles. So think of challenging situations as growth opportunities. Try to see the positive side of things and learn from your mistakes, which is a very difficult thing to do, isn't it? But I think when we do that, I think it's a game changer, really, isn't it? And it says practice gratitude. So take time each day to be thankful, which I think is so important, isn't it? And I think it's something we easily overlook when we're going about our day-to-day business. We forget to look around and be thankful for what we do have. I'm just going to have some more tea, bear with me. It says, explore your beliefs about the meaning and purpose of life. So guide your life by the principles that are important to you. So this isn't just religion. It can be religion, but it can just be about thinking about how you want to live your life, how you expect others to be as well. And I think that's really important. Helps you get that, like it says, that purpose, sense of purpose. It says here, tap into social connections and community. Surround yourself with positive, healthy people and ask for help when you need it. Something I think we're all guilty of not doing very much, are we? We all think we have to get on with our problems ourselves instead of going, actually, I need some help. And I think that's a really brave thing to do. Okay. So then we move on to the next one. And this one concerns reducing stresses. Okay, so although we are faced with stress, we do need to try and reduce the stresses that are very harmful to us and try to manage the stresses that are unavoidable. So here it says that everybody feels stressed from time to time. Stress can give you a rush of energy when it's needed most. But if stress lasts a long time, a condition known as chronic stress, those high alert changes become harmful rather than helpful. Learning healthy ways to cope with stress can also boost your resilience. So it's all a bit of a circle, isn't it, really? We kind of need to do all of these, really, to get our emotional wellness in top condition. And there's some tips here about managing stress. So again, it talks about sleep. So it says about getting 7 or more hours each night. And that's for adults. And for school-age children, they should be having 9 to 12 hours. And teens need 8 to 10. Or mine need about 20, I think. Okay, I'm just going to have another drink. Just going to pour a little bit more of my tea into my cup, so bear with me a moment because it's starting to go a little bit colder now. Okay, there we go. There. Thank you. Okay, and it also says about exercising regularly, and 30 minutes of walking a day can boost your mood and reduce your stress, which is really important, isn't it? And it says to build a social support network as well. It talks about setting priorities. So by deciding what you have to get done and what can actually wait. Saying no to new tasks if they're putting you into overload, which saying no is very difficult sometimes, isn't it? But so important at times. It says show compassion for yourself. Note what you've accomplished at the end of the day, not what you didn't. See, we generally beat ourselves up, don't we, at the end of the day? Oh, I didn't get to do this, I didn't get to do that. But actually, when you stop and think, but I've done this and I've done this, it's a much more positive spin on it, and it's much more helpful and healthy. It says schedule regular times for a relaxing activity that uses mindfulness and breathing exercises like yoga or Tai Chi. I personally struggle with yoga. I love doing it and I love the thought of it, but I do struggle, so sometimes I don't feel as relaxed as I should. It's just not enough practice, that's the problem. Okay. And then again, it says about seeking help. So it's really important that we talk to a mental health professional if we're feeling unable to cope, we're having any suicidal thoughts, or we're using drugs or alcohol to cope. Okay, that's really important as well. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This one is focusing on sleep, which is actually so important, isn't it? And something I think we all struggle with, especially when we're stressed. So it says, to fit in everything we want to do in our day, we often sacrifice sleep. But sleep affects both mental and physical health. It's vital to your well-being. When you're tired, you can't function at your best. Sleep helps you think more clearly, have quicker reflexes, and focus better. Take steps to make sure you regularly get a good night's sleep. And there's some tips here on how to get a good night's sleep. It says about going to bed at the same time each night and waking up at the same time each morning. It says to sleep in a dark, quiet, comfortable environment and exercise daily, but not right before bedtime. And limit the use of electronics before bed. Something I am definitely doing a lot when I really need to stop, because it's the time of day I usually catch up on my social media or play my little games or something, and I do definitely feel the effects. So it's when I have to sort of put it down, listen to my audiobook or some ASMR just to help me switch off again. And it says, relax before bedtime. Try a warm bath or reading. Reading always works a treat, which makes me feel very tired. And it says, avoid alcohol and large meals before bedtime. And avoid stimulants like nicotine and caffeine. It says here, don't take naps after mid-afternoon and keep them short. And try to get natural sunlight for at least 30 minutes a day. Difficult in the winter, that one. And then it also says to see a healthcare professional if you have ongoing sleep problems. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so now we're moving on to something that is quite it's quite important to me, because I've just done this for my dissertation, mainly focusing on older people, as I think our lifestyle has changed, our ways of being a community has just changed so much these days that we often forget that there's people who live close by to us that actually they don't see anybody day in, day out, and it's honestly so detrimental to all health, all aspects of your health. So all I'd say is check on somebody. If you know, especially someone who's maybe a little bit older, doesn't go out to work, maybe has a few health issues, check on that person. Just check they're okay, that they've got people around them, that they've got somebody they can call on, and maybe you can be that person they can call on. So this says about strengthening social connections. So social connections might help protect health and lengthen life. Scientists are finding out that our links to others can have powerful effects on our health, both emotionally and physically, whether with romantic partners, family, friends, neighbours, or others. Social connections can influence our biology and well-being. So here's some tips for building healthy support systems. It says about building strong relationships with your kids, which sounds easy, but as children get older and have their own lives, relationships can become more difficult, can't they? It says to get active and share good habits with family and friends. It says if you're a family caregiver, ask for help from others. And it says to join a group focused on a favourite hobby, such as reading, hiking, or painting. And then you come into contact with other like-minded people. It says to take a class to learn something new, which is very important, especially as we get older. Volunteer for things you care about in your community, like a community garden, a school, a library, or a place of worship. Travel to different places and meet new people. Okay, I'm just going to have a little drink. So nice that. It's proper loose chamomile tea. It's so much nicer than the tea bags. Okay. So then we go on to something, a difficult subject. It says about coping with loss, something that we all face at some point in our lives. And it says when someone you love dies, your world changes. There is no right or wrong way to mourn. And although the death of a loved one can feel overwhelming, most people can make it through the grieving process with the support of family and friends. Learn healthy ways to help you through difficult times. So here are some ways it says to help cope with loss. Okay? It says to take care of yourself. So again, as we go full circle, it's very much about your diet, eating healthily, getting a bit of exercise, getting enough sleep, and trying to avoid relying on those bad habits like smoking or drinking alcohol that can really put your health at risk. Just going to have another drink. It says about talking to caring friends and let others know when you want to talk. Again, it comes back to that having that resilience, having that support network. It's all going to help at these difficult times when we inevitably feel immense stress and stress that often the body can't cope with. It says to find a grief support group. So it might help to talk to others who are also grieving and they understand what you're going through. It says about not making major changes right away. So wait a while before making big decisions, such as moving or changing jobs. So, make time for yourself, really. I think that's what it's saying, that, you need to go through that process, I think, and you need to be kind to yourself. It says about talking to a doctor. So this is if you're having trouble with everyday activities. So be aware when things are too much and you need that professional help. I think that's the important thing as well. And then it says about considering additional support. So maybe sometimes a short-term talk therapy could be helpful just to get you through those really difficult times as well and give you those coping mechanisms. It says to be patient. Mourning takes time. It's common to have roller coaster emotions for a while. And I think that's the important thing, not to compare yourself to anybody else. Everybody grieves differently, and it's important that you listen to what you need. You listen to your body and your emotions and do what's right for you. Okay, so that's an important one. Okay, and then this is one that I like to focus on a daily basis, really, and I think it's important that I bring that to this channel as well. I'm a big believer of being mindful and how important it is and how healthy it is as well. So it says here that the concept of mindfulness is simple, and that's why I like it, because I think it just makes sense. You know, all we have to do is be present in the moment. And actually it's something that we really don't do a lot, because we're always looking for the next thing, we're always planning for the next thing, we're always worrying about what comes next, what we've got to do next, instead of just going, at this moment I feel like this, at this moment I can hear this, at this moment I can taste this, you know, and that is so important, and it's such a game changer when you realise, actually I can stop in this moment right now and I can just be, and that is such a game changer. So it says that it's an ancient practice about being completely aware of what is happening in the present, of all that's going on inside and all that's happening around you. It means not living your life on autopilot. Becoming more mindful requires commitment and practice. And here's some helpful tips to get you started. Okay? So, to be more mindful, you can take some deep breaths. Nice and easy, nice and simple. But actually, when we concentrate on our breathing, we realise how little we think about it because it's so automatic. But when you really focus and consciously breathe, you suddenly think, it feels so different and so relaxing. So it says here about breathing in through your nose to a count of 4, holding for 1 second, and then exhaling through the mouth to a count of 5. And it says to repeat that often. Okay. It says enjoy a stroll. So again, we come back to exercise, to getting our daylight. It all, like I say, it all links. So, and as you're walking, it says notice your breathing and notice what you can see and what you can hear around you. And as thoughts and worries enter your mind, note them, but then return to the present. And that's the important thing. We're never going to be able to close our minds off. We're never going to be able to stop our minds wandering. But when our mind does wander, I think if we can recognise and go, actually, I recognise that I feel that I'm thinking that, but I'm just going to concentrate on my breathing, or I'm just going to listen to the birds singing, or I'm just going to concentrate on what I'm eating, what I can taste, what I can feel in my hand. You know, I think that's such a skill to have, and it does take a lot of practice, it really does, and I am definitely not there yet. But I do try now and again to just be as mindful as I can. Okay, so it says practice mindful eating. So this was what I was saying, wasn't it, about being aware of what you can taste, of the textures and the flavours in each bite, and to listen to your body when you are hungry and full. Now that's a skill I need to work on, because sometimes we're so hungry, aren't we? We eat and we eat and we eat, and all of a sudden it's too much and we're absolutely stuffed. And it's actually not that nice a feeling, is it? But there we go. And it says to be aware of your body. So mentally scan your body from head to toe and bring your attention to how each part feels. So this can be a good thing to do when you're in bed as well. Just start from your toes. Just be aware of your toes, wiggle your toes, feel them, then move your way up to your heels, to your ankles, up to your calves, up to your thigh, and keep going and going and going and going up the body, and just noticing each area. And it really helps your mind to focus, and then you can just start to relax. Your mind can just shut down a little bit and just be ready to go to sleep. So I think that's a really good skill to have as well. And it was something that when I was doing therapy, something that I was taught to do as well. And it says about finding mindfulness resources, which include online programs and teacher guided practices. And I think now if we look around, very often we can find classes that specialise in mindfulness practice and sort of teaching you how to do it, and just giving you that time to just be in that moment as well. Yoga's very, very, exercise is very good for that, really, because I think, like, I go on the treadmill, and when I'm on the treadmill, I'm so focused in that moment of getting through that particular run that I haven't got the space to worry about anything that's going on. And then when I'm finished, I feel my head feels clearer. I feel more energized, more able to focus. So I think that's a really important thing. But you have to find what works for you, and some of these mindfulness resources will kind of give you those suggestions as well. Okay. So I hope that you got something from this emotional wellness checklist. I found it online, and I just thought, actually, it's very simple. There's nothing overly complicated about it. You know, it's all about looking after yourself, making time for yourself, you know, being social, being in the moment. You know, it's very, very simple, back to basic stuff. But actually, this is what we need to do to keep our well-being in top condition, and it's something that I think we really neglect, don't we, at the moment? So I hope that was helpful to you. I'm not going to stay on for too much longer. So it's great to see you all, and if you like this video, I'd be very, very grateful for a like or a subscribe, or any interaction is most welcome. Okay, and I hope that you take care of yourselves, and that you are making time for yourself, and you are keeping your stresses to a minimum as much as you can. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon, my lovelies. Bye bye.